things are really moving now. If you've been watching my progress so far, then we are almost ready to make a dummy book. Hello folks, it's me Jules with another video on drawing and publishing, and this time it's episode 6 of Make a Picture Book. If you've been following along, then you'll know that I've been showing you how I went about writing and thinking up ideas for characters and doing a bit of colour work and also starting to make my layouts. Plus, of course, thinking about how I'm actually going to publish this book. Last time I looked at how I went about laying out my different spreads. If you're interested in making your own book, then I do have a course called Make a Picture Book, which has tons of really useful information. And also some sneaky nuggets of information about how to go about drawing various different things that you might find useful for your book. The link is in the description below. In this video, I'm going to be looking at the layouts I've made so far since I last saw you in episode 5, and a few new ones besides that I'll draw today. I haven't quite got to the stage yet where I want to be able to make the dummy book. I'm still part way through making those layouts, but it is on its way. I'd like to show you where I am now and where I expect to go next. So, shall we start?
I was just wondering if you could possibly help me do some drawing today. Do you think you'd be able to, you know, get off your sofa and come and help? What about you? Are you going to help me with my work? You do some drawing today? You can do some drawing? Oh, okay.
Well, it's the first really lovely spring day today in the UK, so I've got my door open. You might be able to hear the twittering of the birds. So I just want to catch you up first of all with where I have got to. In the previous chapter we looked at drawing the introduction to Vincent and giving him a bit of the setting. So there he is in his castle, and then I drew this spread, although it was a slightly different one. This is pages 6 and 7. I decided in the end to have her facing us so that you can see a bit better what's going on, what her facial expression is. So I'm thinking this is going to be the rock that she's sitting on, and she's got her legs sort of side on like this. Not legs, her tail swishing. It shows a bit more swishing energy. And then we've got the sea on the bottom third of this page, because if you split the page into three, so you've got 2/3 up here and 1/3 down here, that's quite nice in a sort of aesthetically pleasing way. And then behind her we've got the sun just going down, and this is all going to be sunset, and then text up in this top corner here. By the way, if you hear a lot of squeaking, it's because it's a windy day and my door is flapping backwards and forwards, but actually it's lovely, so I'm going to leave it as it is. This is the introduction to where the mermaid and Vincent meet, and for this page I thought it would be nice to have, she's just heard him flapping over, sort of asking what's the problem, so she's looking quite surprised, but also again sitting on the rock, and text up in this corner, or in this part of the page, and here's Vincent looking quite concerned for her well-being. So this is how I really sort of went on for about, I've done about half of the pages so far, I think it is. And there she is again telling Vincent what is going on, why she's feeling upset, and what's happening in her life, which will all come out in the story. And this is a bit of a flashback to what it used to be like in the good old days when she was able to, you know, have parties, and but how this kind of refers to why it's problematic for her now, because she's got her cakes and her drink and stuff like that. Ooh, excuse the door squeaking. And here she is doing a bit of baking because she's such a terrific baker, a bit like a sort of bake-off aficionado. And then down in the corner over here, we've got Vincent looking worried because she's explained to him what the problem was. So you can see down in that bottom corner, it's like a little thought bubble with his line of text saying what's going on. So that's how it goes on, really. I've done a lot of these pages with thinking about where the text needs to be, and then the sort of like little vignettes, like this is a vignette, so just a thought or possibly sometime in the past, and then our character in the middle here. And this one I really like. I worked on this one a bit more. As you can see, I've shaded some of it in. And her expression, this is the Queen Mermaid, and she's on the phone to Tabitha saying how she'd like her to produce a fantastic party because it's going to be her birthday. And you can see from her expression, she was not expecting it. The next page is about well, she's telling Vincent something to do with cakes. I'm not going to give too much of it away, but she's talking about cakes and how it can be slightly problematic for her being under the sea. And that's Maisie barking in the background because my neighbours appeared. Either that or the postman, post lady. And this is where he starts to get his ideas. And this page, I don't know how well you can see that really, but let's draw it in a bit darker. So this is split across, there's the spine, so the middle of where the two pages meet, and this is all about him having an idea and his cogs whirring. So I'm not quite sure what's going to happen up here at the moment. I might just bleed that off into the corner because this is all his brain working and having the fabulous idea, and then we can have text probably in this area. And these are all going to be cogs and keys and locks and that sort of thing. I haven't finished drawing that in yet, but that's the idea for this page. There she is disappearing off into the sea. And she's come back with, this is like, you know, the lady in the lake. Instead of holding up the sword, she's holding up a cupcake. And it's, of course, a blackberry one, so it's one of Vincent's favourite things in the world. So once he's had his food, he can think more clearly, and he has an idea. And this is the pa-ching page where the idea suddenly drops into his head, but I won't give too much of that away. So this is where we are now. I'm on to page 34, so I'm just going to write up in the top corner what pages they are so I don't get muddled up. Then with my template, I'm just going to go underneath and draw out the rough size of my page. Doesn't have to be exact because this is just for the dummy book, so it's not for the actual artwork. When I do the actual artwork, I will be very precise about how big it needs to be and its measurements, but because this is just for the dummy book and I'm just going to scan it in and I'd probably add the text on the computer, I'm just doing it quite rough. I'm just checking back with my text to see what it is that's going to be on this page, and this is going to be a really fun page to draw because it's all about Vincent going into the castle and finding his vampire friend Vlad, who is the vampire from the first book. They're best mates now. So he goes into the castle, trying each room, and finally he finds Vladimir snoozing in his favourite armchair. and Vincent goes to wake him up. So I'm thinking that I'll probably have I think I'll have him sitting over in this side in his armchair, so he's much bigger than Vincent is, of course. Ooh, sorry for the squeak. So let's have him, and he's having a good old snooze, so we could have a lot of fun with him having his mouth wide open, something like this. And of course he's got to have his cape on, perhaps over his knees, and his hands resting over here on the arm of the chair. Kind of like an old granddad, but of course he's in many ways like a super granddad because he's very strong and very fast. And Vincent is flapping around his head, so Vincent could be here. It's not having too close to the spine because we don't want to lose him. Something like that. The detail for this will come in my next drawing. I'm just trying to get an idea of where things are going to be placed on the page. So text can be over here. Let's have a look, see how much text we've got. We've got about 3 sentences, so maybe filling up that sort of space. And then I need to think about what's going to be in the background. So what is in this castle? We could have, there's the floor perhaps, and a little table like this with things on it, maybe a cup of tea. And we could have, it might be quite nice to have a, or part of, a suit of armour. In this sort of, I need to do some research to see what a suit of armour looks like, but this sort of, in that space up there. To give it, we need to give it lots of atmosphere, this room. So I might actually even think about shrinking him down a little bit so we can have a chandelier poking somehow around here. So that's my thoughts at the moment. I'm going to go away and tinker with this, and I'll be back shortly. In developing this idea and this spread, and I was redrawing it, I've had some further thoughts. I thought it might be nice to have a really big, old, grand oak fireplace. So this is all a piece of oak that will be really nicely sort of rendered. And then maybe some bricks or more oak down the side here. And then because this is going to be dark, this will be, if I have this black, I can have white text in that space there. And then a big old rug. And here are Vincent and Vlad. Vlad's still asleep, snoring. Vincent is looking, you know, a bit perturbed and like he needs to wake up Vlad pretty quickly. You can see by his feet that he's kind of stopped mid-air. And down here, and this is thinking about the lighting, I've got one of those old Tiffany 1920s Art Nouveau lamps that can shine up some interesting light. So we're going to get, he's going to be lit from underneath. That will give quite a nice effect, I think. And then his chair is just an old armchair. Maybe give him a cushion or something behind. This is page 38-39, and I think this is the first time that we're going to see Vlad standing up, so you can see the full character. And he's putting his cloak on here, so he's got his fingers kind of round his clasp, getting that clasp shut on his cloak before they go off on their journey to rescue Tabitha. So I've got him looking towards Vincent. Vincent is closer to us, much more in the foreground, so he is much bigger. And I've got both of his ears pointing in the direction that I want the energy of the page to go, as I want people to get this page and turn it over. So everything is kind of pointing in this direction. And I think that's quite, well, can be quite an important little device to sort of keep your flow going. So there's his ears. Text up the top here. There's quite a bit of text on this page, so I've got it up here. And then in the background, again, I'm going to have probably, I think they might be in a hallway or something like that, so I might have just an archway or something leading through to something, and then they're standing in this hallway on their way out. So again, there might be some other sort of castle paraphernalia that I haven't thought of yet in the background, just to give us, just to put that setting, give it a setting again. So that's how it's going, and I'm going to do a bit more. I would really like to start getting towards the end, and I'll just quickly show you. So I'm currently here, and I've got, without giving too much away, I've got this page to go. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 more spreads to do. And in this sort of area, from here onwards, this is where there's going to be some exciting scenery going on. So that's something I need to do some more research and development for. And when I've done that, I will get back to you and show you what it is that I've done, without giving too many spoilers away. So stick with it and see what I come up with for the next episode, when hopefully I will be able to start putting together my dummy book.
It's really, really important to get the pacing right for your story, and doing this is one really good way of getting that done. The next thing to do is to make a dummy book, and that will be coming up in episode 7. If you want to support me in making this book and also my other creative ventures, and get hold of some tutorials just for you, then have a look at my Patreon page. Pledges start from $3 per month. If you'd like further artist tutorials, I have a variety of short courses that will help you. There are real-time sessions looking at painting, drawing and marker pens, among others. And if you're keen on producing your own book, there is a more in-depth course on what you need to know about self-publishing a book with illustrations. And that covers making key decisions, how to make layouts and dummy books, rhythm and pacing, as well as several tutorials on illustrating your book, and a look at the tech. You can either hop over to my website or join me on Patreon for more information. Go on, give it a go! Thanks for watching. Let me know if you're making a book. It's great to network with other creative bookmakers. Tell me who you're writing it for. Check out my other videos and playlists that will definitely help you on your way. I'm off to pretend it's nearly springtime. I'll see you next time. Nanu nanu.